Hey everyone, welcome to BlockRoots. I'm Josh. As always, hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's a great cold day here where I'm located, so I'm relaxed here in my hoodie and my hat, and hopefully you can spend some time with family later on today. But before then, we want to talk about the Bitcoin market. So we'll talk about the chart and what I see, what I think, as far as what's to come for Bitcoin. We'll look at the monthly chart. We'll also go down to the kind of the intraday. We'll look at the CME gaps. We'll also give away $100 in Bitcoin. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Click the red button below. And what you can do is leave a comment or engage. And anybody who leaves a comment or engages on any of our videos for the week is eligible to win $100 in Bitcoin. And we'll give that out. Just you can leave your wallet. You don't have to, but we'll reach out to you on the comments section below. And we'll randomly pick that today. As far as last time, too, in the last video, we talked about Level Exchange. And so Level is a money service business. It's more than an exchange. Basically, what Level is offering is a checking and debit account also, too. Seamlessly be able to trade between your USD and your crypto and exchange that. And it's unlimited trades, 100% free all the time. We'll have a debit card and checking account, hopefully by the end of Q1 here in 2020. Now, last time I shared about this, I had you guys, if you wanted to sign up, you can go to level, lvl.co/blockroots because it is only invite. But last time, some of you noticed there was a 500, like a server error there when you signed up. So it's been fixed. We immediately fixed that. Of course, I'm on the advisory board for Level. And so the engineer quickly fixed that. So if you haven't yet, now you can go to level.co/blockroots and sign up. It's totally free. If your state or region is not available yet, that's okay because we're slowly moving into multiple states and regions and countries. And so whenever you sign up, and even though it's not available, you actually vote for your state or country when you sign up because that allows Level to know who's interested from what country or what state, the most votes, basically the most people who sign up, that's where we're going to go to next. And so it's totally free as far as anybody, if your state or region isn't available. It's $9 a month otherwise, and that's just taken from your deposits that you put in once a month. For checking and debit, I do have a business checking or debit account that I actually recently got a $50 analysis fee, random fee. They couldn't explain it to me. And so I'm definitely going to be changing over to Level when they get that debit and checking account open as well for my own business. And so know that. Really exciting things ahead for that. You can sign up below. I just wanted to share that again, as always, because I do feel like it is a great opportunity when it comes to accumulating Bitcoin without fees at this price level. So let's go ahead and look at the monthly chart. So with the monthly chart, what do we see? I mean, overall, a nice green candle here. Hopefully that will end out January. We do know that the monthly does end in about a week or so. It's the 25th today. So we've got another week for this candle to close. But right now it's looking quite bullish. Yes, we've seen a downtrend where like a bullish engulfing candle actually happened. We saw this actually in the month of August of not last year, 2 years ago. It's 2020 now, of 2018. And of course it continued on down and capitulated. But again, this is a totally different market at the moment. We've already been through that capitulation, that heavy accumulation down here in the 3,000s. Basically a run up to 14K where a lot of the whales and heavy investors actually took profit from. Then, of course, we saw price go down. And so my opinion of this is that no, we're not going to continue to break down below here. If you notice back in December, this high volume node here, which is really, this is the most volume for any price point, and that's how you use volume profile. But basically, price bounced off this area and has continued to move up from here. Now, can we kind of go back down to this area? Yeah, I certainly do think that we can do that. But the important thing to know is that price was rejected off this area, bounced off this area, which goes to show that buyers did step in. And we also know, if I were to show the long-term trend line here, right, that price actually bounced around this area depending on how you draw your trend line. Trend lines are highly subjective, but that long-term trend line is still intact here, and it kind of bounced around that area. But we also see too, if I were to draw a horizontal line here as well, we saw that price actually rejected or respected the monthly resistance above around 9,200. So So price also rejected off that area. So really what we're doing is ranging, if you want to just look at it in that sense, right? So between 6,400 to 9,200, we see this, $3,000 range. And really, what is my opinion of that is that I do believe that Bitcoin is an accumulation. What I was talking about earlier is that the people with a lot of Bitcoin who bought down here, sold off here, took profits, and now they're trying to double down, right? They're trying to double down because if they sold at 13 to 14K, half that is $6,000 to $7,000. Well, what are they doing? They're basically getting twice as much Bitcoin by selling off there and buying more here. And so that personally, that's what I feel that's going on right now. We have seen from major on-chain analysts such as Willy Woo that he thinks that Bitcoin is in heavy accumulation. If we go down to the weekly chart, of course, most people are talking about this block area of price around 5,500. This has definitely been a major area where people have said, hey, I think this is where price is going to go. Again, with the volume profile showing just the long-term outlook, again, the important area is around, low 6,000 to mid 6,000. I think if we do break below that, yeah, we could head down to 5,200, 5,500s and bounce from there. There's a lot of buy orders in this area. But again, it doesn't seem likely because everybody is looking at that. We always talk about max pain, right? Max pain is really what's going to be the most difficult for people to handle. Whether it's if everybody's expecting lows, then of course price is going to bounce and push higher. If everybody's expecting or wanting price to go higher, then price can potentially drop, right? For me, max pain is sideways or ranging. And so again, I do believe accumulation in this area, range of $2,000 to $3,000, going back and forth up until the halving of Bitcoin, which is likely in May. That would be, for me, that would be, in most holders, that would be max pain, right? That would be something that would wear people out, that they'd get tired of it. And of course, post-halving, after there's been accumulation in that area, of course, by the heavy hand, that price could move up from there. So for me, personally, I do like this area as far as 6,300 to hold. Can we retest that area? I think certainly so. Honestly, I don't even think we make it back down there. And so let's go ahead and look at the CME charts. Now, again, the CME Bitcoin Futures, a highly respected chart. We always talk about the gap here. The futures did close this weekend at 84.95, so expect price to eventually go back up during the next few weeks to at least go back up there in that area. Well, long term anyway, we do expect price to make it way above that, right? We still have the gap from 11.855, and so that's a long term gap that's been there since August of last year. Again, gaps don't necessarily have to be filled. That's kind of a meme, especially because Bitcoin is a 24-hour market. But a lot of people are talking about the gap at around 7,600 or so, right? And so there it is, the gap at 7,615 and $7,615. And so can price make it down that way? Yeah, I certainly think so. You see, as far as that goes, I do believe that this is still an important area to hold. Going back to the BitMEX chart here, again, we saw price bounce off support and then has moved back down, and it's kind of ranging sideways, not really doing a lot right now. Price is kind of dead. But long term, again, this is the area that we've looked as a it's not a perfect line here, but as the market structure as far as the previous range, that was between 6,000, 6,300 up to around 7,800, 7,700 or so. So to stay above 7,700 would be very important. I do believe that price can wick down there, quote, fill or explore that gap, move back up, but I think it would then bounce. If price does break below 8,200, this gray box area, if price makes its way down, comes back down around 7,600, quote, fills that gap, explores that gap, I believe that it would bounce, move back up here to around 8,000 to 8,200 again, then reject off that as resistance and then move back down to this area around low 7,000s. And again, we see that this area in low 7,000s is definitely the area that we want to hold. But again, I'm not too bearish on that. On this CME futures chart, again, I drew the line here because as you can see, the market structure, this area around 7,100 to 7,200, notice how price primarily stayed above this area, right? And so every time price dipped down below 7,100, down in the 6,000s, right? That was actually bought up fairly quickly within a day or two. The only time that it took more than a couple days was around December 16th, 17th, and 18th, and that giant candle, one-day candle, shot us back up over the 7,100 mark, right, within a day. So every time we get below in the 6,000 range, there are buyers here that are stepping in to push price back up, which again tells me that we're in accumulation, and there's interest there. They don't want it to go far too below that, because again, the further south it goes, the more it actually benefits retail. The cheaper that Bitcoin is, $5,000 doesn't do a lot for a big whale, right? I mean, that'll get them a Bitcoin if it goes down that. But a Bitcoin to most retail people, one Bitcoin, and allowing that opportunity for many people to buy Bitcoin again back in the $5,000 range is a big deal, right? Because again, less than 21 million available right now. We know that many of those Bitcoins have been lost. It's a very scarce commodity. And so I do believe that max pain is to keep it up in this level between 6,000 and 9,000. Just enough where it's not super comfortable for you and I just to want to just keep buying in. But I do believe that, in my opinion, heavy accumulation, and that anytime price dips below 6,000 at this point, that it'd be bought back up and pushed up. So, based on the CMEs, based on the overall market structure, based on volume profile and the support resistance, I do believe that this price holds, especially, again, like I said, on the monthly chart, we do see that is definitely an area that should hold long term as far as the point of control. And before we do anything else, let's go ahead and give away $100 of Bitcoin. So this is the winner of the Bitcoin right here. And Mark, I can't say your last name. Great content, and ask about level and as far as the license in the EU. Mark Barsbergen, you won $100 in Bitcoin, so I'm going to actually reply to this to your comment below here so that you can share with me your Bitcoin address so I can get that sent out to you ASAP. Mark, if you don't answer me, just know again that I will pick another winner randomly and send that to them. So just to let you know, Mark, hopefully you hear this. And if you're interested in getting $100 in Bitcoin, just leave a comment below and engage, and make sure to subscribe to our channel in order to be eligible for that. Now, as far as altcoins, recently I asked on my Twitter feed about investing in Bitcoin and altcoins, and basically how exposed are you to altcoins specifically. And I know many of you said that you have 5 alts or less long-term for investments. Some of you, 12% of you, said that you're only in altcoins, you're not in Bitcoin whatsoever. I do feel like it's very important to be exposed to Bitcoin personally because it has the most volume and liquidity, and that's primarily what institutions and the big players are accumulating more of. And again, don't get left out by not accumulating Bitcoin. I do believe that if you're only accumulating altcoins, yes, some can have a good return, but most aren't going to do as well as Bitcoin long term. With that said, for me personally, I do have about less than 5 altcoins in Bitcoin. I personally feel like it's important to have a privacy coin. So for me, it's either Zcash or Monero. Some people might like Dash or other things. It's totally fine. I think Ethereum, a little bit of that is important to have personally for me. And then maybe there's a few other altcoins. So some people really like Tezos or Chainlink or some of the really better performing altcoins recently. I think anything that wasn't pre-mined, didn't have an ICO. One specifically is Raven Coin. And so one thing that I've noticed recently is that how it's almost acting as a stable coin. So this is one I'm looking at. I'm not exposed too much in Raven Coin, again, primarily Bitcoin, but I do like to kind of share some analysis that I see. Now, when Bitcoin went down to as low as mid to low 6Ks, Ravencoin seemed to sustain pretty well around 300 sats or above, okay? And you're going to notice that this long-term line even goes back to as far as February of 2019, right, before it skyrocketed and did like a 5 or 6x there, up to 1,800 sats or so. But for me, I feel like if you want exposure, and I know that this chart looks decent, we see that Ravencoin tends to do well. It is in the top 100 altcoins, and so I'm not going to be too worried if I expose myself, I think personally, to Ravencoin for the fact that it's going to hold in this area even if Bitcoin does drop. It seems to stabilize and it seems to have enough that this is a nice bottom for Raven around 300 sats, give or take. With that said, I think Ravencoin could be a good buy. Again, I really don't have too much of it. Pretty open and honest about that. I'm not looking to pump any altcoins specifically, but I do think in the next month that we could see a push up for Ravencoin. Up as high as what it's recently hit, over 400 sats, 450 sats, possibly above that. Do we get something as high as up here? Potentially. I think it all depends on the market and what Bitcoin's doing long term. Yeah, I think that it pumps that high again. This is not one of those altcoins that is dead per se. Whenever you look at altcoins that are dead, basically you just have to look at the chart compared against Bitcoin. You look at anything specifically, you've got like one chain, right? If I were to basically show that chart, okay, it's just continue to go down, 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 and just has been here. And do we ever see all-time highs again for something like this? Possibly. I think overall, anytime I see a chart like this that has the curve up and then down and it's continued to stay flatlined, I don't have as much hope in it. Again, a lot of people have given me heat over over ICX and Icon. Again, for a coin to go up and then make new lows off where it originally came onto the exchange and went down. Of course, major accumulation here, it seems like. So again, when it comes to any altcoins that aren't in the majors, it's kind of like a dart throw, right? You don't know if it's going to pump, how high it's going to pump. And for me personally, I don't think it's kind of like a bubble. I think we went through an ICO bubble back in 2017-18, but I do believe that we won't see all-time highs again for some of these altcoins. But whenever a chart looks like this, I'm not as much interested, just kind of depending on the look. Again, so be careful with your altcoins. If you do look at altcoins, again, make sure that they do have charts that don't look flatlined, and definitely make sure to have exposure to Bitcoin, not just altcoins. It's very important to have exposure to one of the most scarce assets for Bitcoin, something that definitely piques the interest of the heavy hand and big money. So with that said, I am Josh. Again, thanks again. If you guys have any questions, you can follow us over on Twitter at Cantor and Clark and Josh_Rager. You can also join BlockRoots. Would love to have you there as a member. And if you have not yet subscribed, would love to have you as a subscriber here. Leave a comment below for $100 in Bitcoin giveaway. We do that each and every week. If you have any questions, leave some comments. Hopefully, we can talk to you guys soon. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy some time with your friends and family. And make sure to trade safe and effectively. And look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thanks.